Every team, every topic, everywhere. This is Believe.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Attack the Baseline, a WNBA podcast where every episode we attack our baseline knowledge of the WNBA. We're back, and we are juiced. Philadelphia Eagles just won a playoff game. I just got back from a bachelor party in Montreal. But better than all of that, we've got some huge news out of Philadelphia as it pertains to the WNBA. And because it's more local news, you may not be cued into it, but we're going to give all of that to you in today's episode of Attack the Baseline, and I'm excited to get into it. I'm so thrilled. But before we get into all the good stuff, we've also got more news around the league, transactions, Unrivaled, plenty of stuff. Kristen, what's going on?
John and I spent the weekend apart. I was in New York, he was in Montreal.
A pretty rare occasion.
Yes.
They're typically together on the weekends. Mm-hmm. Occasionally, things like this happen.
So, while we talked on the whole 2-hour car ride home, we didn't talk about any of this.
No.
So this is our first time really discussing all this news together.
And it's news.
Yeah.
It's news. We were always gonna record this pod today after I got back from the trip. And, fortunately KP gave us some news yesterday. But today, there was really, really earth-shattering Philadelphia news today.
Okay.
But I'll give you a second to marinate on what that might be if you don't know. If you would like to send us an email, you could do so at our email. That's attackthebaseline@gmail.com. Or you can connect with us on Twitter or Bluesky at ATBPod. If you would be so kind, give us a 5-star rating and review. That helps us out, helps the show, helps us grow. There's going to be a lot of WNBA news coming down the chute. Free agency is starting to pick up, starting to get started. We have our first transactions of the offseason, so there will be some breaking news. There are going to be trades. The market is expected to be exciting. There could be other news about like the CBA. There's going to be Unrivaled stuff. So it's going to start to heat up. The dead spot, I feel like, is over. So I want you to lock in and help other people find Attack the Baseline when they're looking for a new WNBA pod to listen to. So really do us a favor, 5-star ratings and reviews. That helps us out. Any platform, whatever you use, go out and give us that. That'd be great. And I mentioned this a couple weeks ago. Haven't mentioned it recently, but if you would like to, I'm open to building a Discord channel where we could build a community and talk about the WNBA or women's sports in general. Happy to do that. If you're interested, again, send us an email at attackthebaseline@gmail.com. Okay.
I was thinking about that more because usually we use WhatsApp to talk to our friends about women's basketball.
Our smaller group.
I know WhatsApp is part of Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg's crap. So we're doing our best.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, if you want a place to talk, please let us know. Don't hesitate. Don't be shy. We're here to listen to you because we love talking about women's sports, and let's talk about women's sports now. Philadelphia, out of Philadelphia today. If you're unfamiliar, the Philadelphia 76ers, Harris Blitzer Sports Entertainment, the ownership group, has been trying to build a new stadium in Philadelphia, in Center City, in an area that would be dumb. Be very dumb. Just to put it lightly.
Yeah, so in Philly, it's honestly great how the stadiums are set up. It's all major sports teams' stadiums, except the soccer stadium, are all in a complex right next to each other. They all share parking lots right off the highway in South Philly. It's incredibly convenient. It's right off the subway line. You can, we park in the Philly stadium sometimes for Sixers games.
Right.
And it's so easy to get between stadiums, and there's an Xfinity Live bar. It's great.
Correct.
But currently, the Sixers share an arena with the Flyers hockey team, and the stadium's owned by Comcast, And the Sixers don't like that.
Yes, the stadium is owned by Comcast. The Sixers are like their tenants.
Right. So
And
they've
always wanted their own stadium.
They want to own their own stadium. So they've been trying. There's been news. There's been city council hearings. The mayor approved a new stadium in Center City by City Hall. There currently is a mall on this site.
That was only made brand new
Right.
in the last 5 or 6 years.
I think 7 years ago, the mall was built.
Correct.
It's right next to Chinatown. It's right next to a hospital. There's no parking. It's just a disaster.
Yes.
And like, I get that they want it to be in more of like a city hub where other businesses are, but it would just be a complete disaster. So there's been so many protests. There's been a lot of hearings. And as of like 2 weeks ago.
Literally 2 weeks. Right. It was before Christmas. Right before Christmas.
Okay. City council approved this new stadium.
Correct.
It was, at first, there were so many different plans. They were like, maybe we'll go to New Jersey. Maybe we'll go blah, blah, blah. They approved this stadium in Center City.
Yes.
So
approved.
All of us were like, well, that sucks.
And
We
I
hate
always, part of me, I think the majority of me always was thinking that this was going to be the case. They were just going to get what they want because they're billionaires.
Exactly.
They have a lot of money. They can really do whatever they want as long as they can foot the bill. $1.3 billion project. Humongous project. And then today, Angelo, our friend, in a group chat, completely unrelated to the podcast, drops the biggest headline of the day. The Sixers are backpedaling. There will be no stadium.
Completely
In
shocked.
Out of the blue. I am in an airport ready to fly home from this bachelor party, and I get this news, and I'm like flipping out. It is amazing. It is the best thing that could happen for the city of Philadelphia.
This has been local drama. Okay, so we're excited.
Yes.
So what's the deal?
So the news, and as it pertains to the W, I will lead, because as this was coming out, I wasn't seeing anything about it, and we don't know what the backroom dealings were. We're like, oh, this side had to be pissed. The city council had to be pissed. Keep in mind, our mayor, Sherelle Parker, has been very vocal about wanting a WNBA team in Philadelphia. She says, I think it is bad that we do not have a team. I said, you're right. We should have a team. An article that came out from Kevin Kincaid of Crossing Broad, which is a Philadelphia sports outlet. The thing as it pertains to the WNBA in his article says that Comcast and the Sixers will join together to bid for a WNBA expansion team. Sources explained it to me as the Sixers leading that effort and Comcast having a stake in it. So, bigger picture, Comcast and the Sixers have agreed to build a new stadium, a new hockey and basketball stadium in South Philadelphia by 2031. Through this, they want to be joint owners of this building.
Okay.
No longer the Sixers as tenants, but as owners of the building. They said, let's build it. Whenever they decided this over the last 2 weeks, let's build a new stadium. That was number one, first and foremost, a 50-50 stadium that will be built.
Okay, great.
So that is happening, apparently.
Like in the same complex, just next to it, whatever.
I'm assuming that they're going to take down the Wells Fargo Center and build a new stadium
Okay. by
by 2031. That was number one in this article. Number two was what I just said about the WNBA. They are joining forces, these huge Philadelphia money makers.
I mean, I would push back that this 76ers ownership really cares about this at all, other than to make money.
But Comcast virtually owns the city.
Comcast, for sure, it matters.
Correct. And apparently with 76 Place, which was the name of the Center City arena out, the Sixers and Comcast will be partnering for some generic redevelopment of Market Street. This is news to you. That kind of only pertains to Philadelphia. Unrelated to the W, but like they're just going to try to do something on Market Street, and it's just not going to be a sports venue.
They could do like a VR experience. They could do some other like live thing other than a whole freaking huge new stadium. There's other things they could do.
Sure. But now it's good. as it pertains to like the unions in Philadelphia, there's going to be a project in South Philly building a stadium. There's going to be a project on Market Street building something. And all of this happened so suddenly. Like Kristen said, once the city council decided, yeah, it's fully approved, we're going to do the thing, we all thought it was over. But now that it's shifting back to South Philadelphia, I feel like this has been the general discourse online today after this news came out, Philadelphia is in the driver's seat. They know where the team would play. The Sixers will always have to have their arena to play basketball games whenever they decide to build a new stadium. They're going to build it not where the Wells Fargo Center is. They're going to build it somewhere else and then knock it down.
Right.
And the WNBA team
now
could just play in the Wells Fargo Center.
Well, yeah, but to me, this news doesn't really change anything about the W other than Comcast coming in. Because, like, they could always have played at the Sixers Stadium until the new one in Center City was built.
Sure. Right.
That to me doesn't matter.
Yeah, some people were like, well, they don't know what the stadium is going to be like, so that means it's definitely not going to be Philadelphia.
Well, if the W team is established soon before they start designing a new stadium, the W team leadership can help them design
Bingo.
a locker room
Bingo.
for the W team.
Bingo. We expect the 16th team, called the Philadelphia whatever, to be joining the W in 2028.
Okay.
So there would be a couple years. But you're right.
Of course.
That's plenty of time to put your handprint on the project. And if the Sixers and Comcast are the joint group bidding, then whoever they decide to, run their WNBA franchise, if that's how it goes.
I cannot imagine what Comcast did to make this happen. They must have given them such a deal or so much money. I don't know.
Right. Well, the theory...
It was Comcast?
The theory is that either they used it as leverage, they used it as leverage all the way up to the last minute with the vote to, get Comcast to break. That Harris Blitzer used it all the way up to the last minute, and then Comcast was like, okay, we're willing to do this. We're willing to go 50-50. Or the other one was that there were rumors about financing. There was rumors about maybe there was going to be some roadblock that wasn't going to work for Harris Blitzer Sports. Many of the things that we just mentioned as principal problems that got them to agree with Comcast to let's do a 50-50 stadium. All this to say, good news for Philadelphia, exciting news for the potential of the WNBA in Philadelphia. And again, it's more local politics for us. But that when we started this podcast, we said we are a WNBA podcast until there's a Philadelphia team. Then we're a Philadelphia podcast. Still would be a national thing. I like following the league too much, but you give me that franchise and I'm going to be so locked in.
Yeah.
But
well, it's just interesting that it was Comcast, it was Adam Silver, the commissioner of the NBA, and it was Roger Goodell, the commissioner of the NFL, who all talked to the Sixers leadership and said, no, we're keeping it here. But that's just funny to me that the NFL is getting involved in this
the NFL
dumb stadium.
Is the biggest sports organization in the world. So.
And it just makes so much sense to keep all these stadiums in one place. Because there was a time when we were at a Sixers game. The Sixers game ended, and then at the same time there was a Phillies World Series game on, and we just walked across the parking lot and went and watched the Phillies game. It was so fun. So I love this about our beautiful city, and hopefully that is good news for the W. That's
it for the local spotlight for Attack the Baseline as what's happening in Philadelphia. Just nothing. I was so excited all day about this news. I'm so glad that we got to live react to this on the pod today. So let's get into league news as it pertains to the W. Biggest bomb that dropped yesterday.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy. Just drop in some details about yourself and see if you're eligible to save money when you bundle your home and auto policies. The process only takes minutes, and it could mean hundreds more in your pocket. Visit Progressive.com after this episode to see if you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Kelsey Plum has been cored by the Las Vegas Aces. We wondered, what are they doing with Kelsey Plum? We talked about, is Kelsey Plum going to go to the Valkyries? Is Kelsey Plum going to get signed and trade to another team? Still possible. But we know the first shoe to drop, now that we're in the window before the major off-season free agency starts, that you're allowed to core players. I believe it's from yesterday, the 11th, through to the 20th. There's a 10-day window where coring can be completed. Kelsey Plum, understandably so, unsigned, now has been cored. And we don't know the figures on that, if I'm not mistaken. But I have to assume it's some... close to a max. Right. She's definitely a max player. So it would be surprising if it wasn't that.
Yeah. So it's obviously very possible still that she's traded.
Yeah, it is.
So many people think she's going to go to the Valkyries.
I am not one of those people.
I do not think so. I think she is Las Vegas. She loves Las Vegas.
Yes, I am Vegas.
Yeah. That's what she says. She says, I am Vegas.
She's Rachel Riley, but in the WNBA.
She just launched her cigar line and is like taking pictures all over Las Vegas with her cigars.
Right.
Like, sorry, that's not happening in San Francisco.
No.
I don't think.
Well, I don't know. I don't know what the cigar scene is like in San Francisco, but there is a cigar scene in Las Vegas. I can tell you that.
So, I mean, the Aces... they don't necessarily care that she loves Las Vegas, but I just feel like they obviously value her and giving her this core, but they didn't have to. They would get a lot of value back, but like, I just don't think it would really make sense to trade her with the Valkyries. What would the Aces get back in trading?
Right. It would be picks, but you're also getting picks back and you're making the Valkyries better. So the picks are less good. Less valuable.
It just doesn't really make sense.
There's not any players that were taken, in the expansion draft that are really valuable to you. KP has been really good for the Aces. Yeah. It just doesn't make sense. She still fits.
I was just looking. She fits obviously because the team is good. There are a lot of guards on the Aces, and they definitely have room to size up.
Right.
Have more forwards.
Sure. Yeah, they have room.
Yeah. I was looking, there's 3 other unrestricted free agents, the 3 older women, Tiffany Hayes, Sydney Colson, and Alicia Clark.
Right.
But there's no other free agents of any capacity on the Aces. So, like, they got this done with Kelsey Plum. Now they can just do trades. They don't need to, like, be negotiating with their other players.
Right.
Signings.
Trades or signings. Are they going to decide to bring back those 3 ladies who are, they're dirty work players. They do all the tough stuff. But again, they're 3 of the oldest players in the league. So, like, I don't think it's out of the picture that they all come back in some capacity. I'm just like, let's do one last ride. But it is also important for this Aces team to find and develop young talent. And they haven't had picks to do that. That's been tough.
Why not?
Well, there's, a lot of...
Because they keep getting investigated and they keep getting their picks taken away.
It's on the bingo board. Go back and listen to our WNBA bingo board episode.
Yeah, they don't have a pick in this upcoming draft.
First overall pick. First round.
Sure.
They have a second
So, really, this core, I don't think really means much other than good for Kelsey Plum for getting her bag.
Yes, good for Kelsey Plum. You deserve it. Now finally everyone can stop wondering what the heck's going to happen with Kelsey Plum. The shoe has finally dropped.
Maybe. This is something I thought of. So also, in bringing in the next topic, Satou Sabally announced that she is not intending to return to the Wings.
Correct.
I think interesting, since probably you're getting Paige and you're going to be much better than last year, but okay. She doesn't want to be there. It could be because she wants to be in New York with her sister, which she did say in an interview. Yeah, I'd love to play with my sister in the future. Or whoever, whatever other team she wants to go to. I don't know. And we think she will probably be cored by Dallas. She's an unrestricted free agent, cored and traded.
Yeah, yes, that is the scenario where I feel like if we see this core designation on Satou after these public statements, and, a lot of the public statements where I have talked with the front office about this was not a blindside. They said it's time to make a move. Satou Sabally is, I think, my most interesting free agent. Like, I am most interested in where she goes more than any other player and what they do. Because when you look at the list of who's a free agent, obviously these are high-profile players, but I feel like a lot of them are just going to go back to their main team. Satou, 26-year-old, just coming off of injury, but is really, 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 really good. If she gets cored, there's going to be a lot of takers to try to push to make a bid for her. And New York, like you said, is a team that just lost Kayla Thornton to expansion. Courtney Vandersloot, who was part of their core, is kind of aged out and is not on the books next year. They have money to pay for a player like Satou. Now, if you're going to make a trade, it would probably involve giving up a player of the likes of Leonie Phoebus, who was really, really good in the playoffs. And if you're New York, you're going to have to look yourself in the mirror and decide if that's the type of move you want to do because of how good she was, just to make the Sabalys play together. But, I only mention New York. Maybe a team like Atlanta or Washington or like somebody out of the blue wants to try to make a move because this is a supremely good and young talent that you can build your team around for the future.
So my question is, how likely is it that we could see like two cored players just be like swapped essentially on teams? Because when you do trades, you kind of have to like trade matching salaries,
right,
to some degree.
I don't know. I don't know if there's a historical precedent. If you know, send us an email and let us know. But like last year, when we started this pod, the only cored player is Jordan Canada. There were no other corings last year. It was not a thing. It took us so long to understand how it even worked. Because it's not a concept.
I still am sometimes confused.
Yeah, it's just, it makes sense to me. It's like an NFL thing. Luxury, a tag, franchise tag. It's just a confusing premise. I think it's fascinating as this operation that you can use. Maybe something in the CBA changes that. Maybe they get rid of it. I don't know. But you bring up a good point. We need to think about who else is going to get cored.
Because like the Wings are going to want to compete now that they have Paige. They're not going to want
when they have Paige.
Yep. Yeah, I know.
Now, you can't say now that they have Paige. I know it's our bingo
Okay,
free space.
I won't say that. When they get a top talent in the draft, they're going to want to compete more than they were last year. So they're not going to want to trade Satou and just get picks and like young players. I mean, maybe they want young players, but I figure they want
a good player.
They want a good player. So like in my mind, they would try to get another player that has been cored and is good.
Yeah.
Okay,
well, it
swap.
doesn't have to be a core.
It doesn't have to be a core. But
I just think if you think about the money, that's what you mean. It's like easier to match up like probably a max core salary and a max core salary.
Yeah.
If Satou,
because isn't Jackie Young like the top paid player right now?
Jewel Lloyd. Jewel Lloyd is the highest paid. And Jewel Lloyd is not going to go to Dallas. You're not going to, unless you're like swapping Enrique for Jewel Lloyd, which that doesn't make you better.
Okay.
I legitimately do not know what Dallas's plan is. You say they want to compete. They could try to compete. But like, when we think about Caitlin going into the W, Indiana already had Aaliyah Boston. Dallas has Enrique. And then after that, it's like, we
Fine.
don't know what they're doing. But yeah, they have constructed their team in a way that did not help them retain Satou. And they could have done more to retain Satou Sabally, or to make her actually want to stay. There's a lot of reasons that she wants to leave Dallas. It's kind of a shame that it didn't work out for them because she is as good as she is. And now you're costing yourself. But they're going to try to get anything, I would assume. So we're going to see how it plays out. She's got, 9 days to get cored, 8 days to get cored at this point. It could be news next week where we're talking about her getting cored and then like her demanding or declaring, I want to be traded to here, here, and here. Mm-hmm. Who knows? But that's like kind of where it stands.
Okay.
Sorry, Dallas.
Dallas also did other transactions.
Yes. 2 restricted free agents, which are players that have been in the league for 4 years reserved players who have been in the league for 3 years or less. Sev Uzin and Jaylen Brown both extended their qualifying offers. Mm-hmm. So like, here is your reserve contract that you're welcome to sign. They were extended the offer. Doesn't mean they have to sign it. I would expect them both to sign it. They're both going to have opportunities to play now in an increased role, I would assume.
I honestly am kind of surprised about Sev Uzin. I mean, they used her a lot last year, but I'm just not sure how she'll fit in moving forward.
Yeah. She's like a back of the bench guard.
Because she was, like, JC Sheldon was the starting point guard, and then Sev came in, like, as a replacement for JC.
Right.
Now I figure she'll be a little further down the bench, but not a bad thing to have an experienced player that's been with your team.
Right. And I think at least in promotional material or like videos that are released from the front office, I think they like Sev.
Mm-hmm. She seems like really sweet and like happy to be there.
Yeah, and you kind of need players to want to be happy to be there when you're losing a talent like Satou.
That's true.
So that's it. That's like the actual news, transaction news. There was rumblings that Stewie intends to sign a core deal with New York. Hasn't been done yet, but by all intentions, that is what we expected. Stewie's like the number one free agent out there, and New York just won a title. It would be shocking if Stewie was not running it back with the Liberty to try to do what the Aces did and win another championship. You just brought the first one to New York. You got to prioritize Stewie. She's, the top 3 player in the league at her worst. Mm-hmm. So,
and something that confused me a little bit is that Stewie was cored this year and tends to be cored again.
Right. Was cored for 1 year.
Yeah.
She has a second.
But she signed for less than the max for her core.
Team-friendly deal. Doesn't have to be a max.
But then why are you cored?
Because they want to make sure that they own your rights. Remember, one of the fixtures of coring is that you get the first rights of refusal. Like you basically make them restricted.
Which is different from an unrestricted.
Correct. When you're unrestricted, you can go wherever you want.
Well, why? Well, then who's restricted then?
4 years and younger. Stewie is a veteran of 5 years or more experience in the W.
Okay.
That's why you would want to use a core.
But that's just... So then that's kind of the player... Of course the team wants to do that.
Yep.
That's the player saying, I intend to stay here, probably.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
I just feel like, look...
It also might be a strategy. Like, you use the core while they're still on your team, and then they can't be cored later. And then they're unrestricted, and they could come back if they leave.
Right. But, like, even if... For Stewie, like, even if she did know that she wants to be in New York, then why does she have to be restricted? Then she still knows she wants to be there.
But she's not allowed to tell them.
Yeah.
Until free agency starts. So remember, this coring window that just started yesterday is before free agency starts. So you can get things done before they're allowed to talk to other teams.
Before there's other team offers.
Correct.
Okay, fine.
Correct.
I mean, I get from the team perspective why you would want to do that.
Yeah, you want to get it done so you have Stewie.
I'm just, like, confused why Stewie would want to do it if she's not getting the max.
because she wants to win a
But
championship.
fine. Yeah, fine.
And also the difference between a max and what she took is like, I don't know, 20 grand when she's getting
Yeah,
all
but
sorts
still.
of other stuff.
Sure.
Like, this is different than the NBA.
But then she's using her core when she doesn't have to. I
Yeah,
don't
but
know.
it's not an advantage to the player.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
So, like, for her, it's good to get the core out of the way. Because then she'll always be able to talk to whoever she wants to. Bree
Which
Jones,
drives up your value.
right. Because
Fine.
every team can bid on you. And at least, if it's Stewie, every team should give her a max.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's Stewie.
Of course.
And the only reason that she signed for less than a max is because she wanted to have a better team so that they won a
Yeah,
championship.
I
and
know
then it
why.
paid.
And I love that. I love.
Yeah, no, that's a good thing.
It is. It's a great thing. I was just confused.
I got
Because
you.
this is just confusing.
It's confusing. Yes, I'm not
Okay.
like, I think I get it. But weird action that you can do.
Yeah. And then another comment that was made was from Alyssa Thomas. Well, people were asking her, reporters were asking, what do you intend to do in your free agency? And she didn't say. She basically said, I'm not thinking about it right now. I'm in Miami. I'm playing Unrivaled. But they have a lot of stuff here that Connecticut doesn't have,
Uh-oh.
is what she said. So, like, you can read between the lines. She said it's nice here. They have a lot of stuff that Connecticut doesn't have.
Good thing there's no team in Miami for her to want to go to because...
She loves Miami.
Uh-huh.
Alyssa Thomas is Miami, I guess. So that's that. We'll
That
see
is
what
interesting.
happens with Alyssa Thomas. And with Alyssa Thomas comes Dwana Bonner,
Of course.
you would think.
Yeah, right. So, which team is that going to be?
That's something to look out for in this transaction period.
And we talked about Dallas all the time, but we know Dallas facilities are not that great, so I don't think from Dallas.
Yeah.
So, anyway. That's it. And you want to talk about Unrivaled or
Oh, yeah,
Spicegate?
Unrivaled. We'll get to Spicegate.
That's a little teaser for our end of the pod story. Unrivaled starts in 5 days.
On Friday.
The 17th.
We are ramping up quickly.
Yeah.
So many videos, so many fun moments.
Feels like All-Star Weekend. Everybody's just hanging out.
Okay, so there's 2 games per night.
Right.
So 2 teams, 4
4
teams
teams
are
play,
playing
yeah.
per night. On Fridays, you can watch on TNT and Max. On Saturdays, you can watch on True TV and Max. And on Mondays, you can watch on TNT and Max. So always on Max, on TNT Friday and Monday, True TV on Saturday.
Right. So we know that they're owned by Turner, so that's why you can watch them all on Max. Very convenient time to maybe get a Max subscription if you don't have one.
Or steal someone else's.
Or steal somebody else's.
Take that out.
Take that out, take that out, take that out, take that out, leave that in, take that out. 10 weeks, as we've said. There will be the one-on-one tournament in the middle after week 4. And then how it works at the end, there is a 4-team playoff. The top 4 teams in their standings will go on to play each other 1-4 and 2-3 on the 16th of March. And then on the 17th of March, we will have our champion exactly 2 months after the start of the league. So that is, if you didn't know already how you can watch Unrivaled. The action is going to be great. The players are very excited to play. All of the media coming out of Miami has been incredibly wholesome, incredibly fun. The teams seem to love one another very closely. Like all groups of 6, they're all in it. They all have incredible chemistry with one another, at least off the court. But we'll see how it translates to on the court. Moon and Owls are going to take it. All I have to say.
Okay. So have you guys heard about Spicegate?
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Progressive loves to help people make smart choices. That's why they offer a tool called Auto Quote Explorer that allows you to compare your Progressive car insurance quote with rates from other companies. So you save time on the research and can enjoy savings when you choose the best rate for you. Give it a try after this episode at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
John's heard.
I have. But have you heard, listener, about Spicegate?
Okay. This is the story of Spicegate.
Huge news.
Make sure you're following Dejanay Carrington, Marina Mabrey, potentially Alyssa Thomas, potentially DeWanna Bonner, potentially Jackie Young, all thrown in this mix.
Right. So a bunch of Sun players and
They're posting
Jackie
on
Young.
TikTok. They're posting on Twitter. They're posting on Instagram Lives. You got to be tuned in. This is what's happening.
Spicegate.
Okay. I cannot find this original DeWanna Bonner live Instagram video. Obviously, it's not on her Instagram, but if there's a clip of it, I cannot find it. So I don't remember when it was from. But she was just on Instagram Live chatting, as she does. And someone asked her, can Marina Mabrey cook? Like, cook food. Like, is she a good cook? And DeWanna basically, like, laughed and said, basically, no. Marina's not a good cook. So that was from sometime in, like, late November, early December, I think. If you can find it, if you have it, please send it to me.
Holiday season.
That would just complete this saga in my mind.
Right.
And then Marina posted, so maybe this happened before, I'm not sure. Marina posted a TikTok on December 13th. The TikTok is she's starting a Costco cooking series. And she's making boxed waffles.
Kodiak cakes. That's it.
And it's like kind of a disaster. She like can't figure out how long to cook it for. She's like, these waffles are horrible. Not good. I have it up right now. We're watching.
Kodiak cakes in general are not very tasty, but like if you've never made a waffle, the first waffle you make is probably pretty intimidating. Kind of seems like an interesting place
like
to start.
Using a waffle maker?
Yeah, I mean, you see, like, smoke coming out, or you're like, am I burning it? But it's really just you're cooking the batter. So, like, she was probably nervous. She clearly looks nervous in her video.
I guess.
The waffles didn't turn out great.
Well, she has not posted another part 2 in her cooking series for a month at this point.
So, needless to say, I think the series is done.
Yeah.
Dead and buried.
Well, I don't think so. So I think that came first, and then someone asked DeWanna on her live, is Marina a good cook? She says no. Then Marina posted on Twitter a GIF. She makes a lot of GIFs.
Of just like what a picture would suffice.
Correct. It's of avocado spray, which I do want that. Avocado oil spray instead of like olive oil.
Sure.
Black pepper and pink salt. And she says, guys, I can finally cook.
This is 2 days ago.
Yes. No, this was, January 10th, 2 days ago. Dejanay quote tweeted this, and she's laughing. She says, ha ha ha, dog, I spit my drink out. WTF are you making with these 3 things, bro? Crying face emojis. I gotta get you right, OMG.
I mean, look, all I'll say, as a guy that cooks a good amount in this home, yeah, these are pretty essential. Salt, pepper, oil, kind of got to have them. But yes, at her expense, Dejanay's saying, you got to have some spices. Which is why we're calling this Spicegate.
You gotta put more spices than pepper and pink salt.
Right.
That's not, it's like, you have to grind this pink salt up. This is not even like salt you can use right now.
Correct. You need to get it in a grinder.
You need a grinder as well. So that's Dejanay weighing in.
We love.
Then this same day, Dejanay carries in to Unrivaled practice in a Louis Vuitton shopping bag, first of all. This whole slew of spices. And she gives them to Marina. This like Lowry's, all this different stuff.
Yeah, good stuff.
Marina looks at it and she's basically like, what am I supposed to do with these?
This is not a Louis bag.
This is right. This is not Louis Vuitton. It's spices. She's like, I don't know how to use these spices.
Dejanay's like, I don't know if you do seafood. I got you Old Bay.
She should be using Old Bay. Please, Marina, learn to use Old Bay.
Right.
Make
That would
some,
up your spice game significantly.
Make some crab legs. Make
Sure.
some shrimp. I think that we need a couple steps before then.
Sure.
So Dejanay says, I just got you a little starter pack. I'll show you how to use them.
So this is still 2 days ago.
Right. Today.
Yesterday.
Oh, yesterday. Yeah, the 11th. Marina tweets, we're starting small. I used the garlic salt and it came out a bit too fast. And it's this GIF of scrambled eggs.
That looks like a picture.
No, it's a GIF. It moves and it like turns blue halfway through. Well, this is a picture.
Oh, you took a screenshot.
Yeah, the GIF like turns blue. It's just eggs covered in garlic salt. Mm-hmm. John loves garlic salt. We love garlic salt here.
It's good.
On pizza.
Yeah. It's really good. On eggs, I'm sure it would be good. I usually just use salt and pepper in my eggs.
You cannot cover something in garlic salt.
No.
That is too much.
No.
So she tried.
The eggs do look cooked, I'll say. But also maybe Dejanay cooked the eggs for her and she just salted the eggs.
Yeah, they don't, potentially.
That's my wonder.
Then Marina posts a little video with Alyssa Thomas today. Mm-hmm. And Alyssa Thomas is like being rubbed down after practice. And Marina says, AT said she's going to help Marina cook.
Uh-huh.
So everyone's out here trying to help Marina cook.
The current state of affairs is, what can we do to help Marina be a better
chef,
even though she does not have any skills in that regard.
She also did a cookie tasting video with Jackie Young.
Uh-huh.
But she didn't make them. At first I was like, oh, she made cookies and they're trying. No, she bought them.
Mm-hmm. I think they were crumble, right?
Yeah, crumble cookies. So that's where we are.
Right. So we get the Jackie Young crossover from Lace's lore.
Jackie's there.
And then like all the sun focus. I like that eventually it is going to be like 10 players from all over the W that want to help Marina cook.
I need to see Chef Marina making better eggs, making some seafood with her Old Bay, serving it up, and a table of all W players. And they're all trying her food.
That would be really good. I need to see Marina Mabrey with chef hat, and then she takes off the chef hat and she's got a rat under her head.
Maybe that's how she needs to learn.
Anyone can cook.
We're getting there.
Anyone can cook.
Marina will prove anyone can cook with practice.
There you go.
That's Spicegate.
That's Spicegate. And
Keep an eye out.
That's going to do it for this episode of Attack the Baseline. Some fun stuff in there, some serious stuff in there, some important Philadelphia news in there. But thank you so much for listening to this episode of Attack the Baseline. Again, if you'd like to send us an email, you could do so at attackthebaseline@gmail.com or connect with us on Twitter or Bluesky at ATBPod. Again, 5-star rating and review to help the show out, help us grow. Let us know if you're interested in the community Discord. And again, keep following Spicegate. Watch Unrivaled. It's going to be exciting. We got women's basketball on the docket. Obviously, college is still popping off. But lock in. A brand new league. Come Friday, we're going to have new basketball to talk about that we've never seen before, ever, outside of the Olympics. So I'm excited for that. But Kristen, anything else before we look at the baseline?
No, we can attack it.
We attacked it. We attacked the baseline. Thank you again for listening, and we'll be back next week with more WNBA news. But until then, ta-ta.